Hello guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that is the song I actually sing before I start recording to make sure I get the audio correct in my videos. Yes, I'm wearing a stupid hat. But guys, today I thought I would do the last ever video in the shrimp room. You're wondering what I was doing there. I thought I had my cap on. Let's take this off because I'm getting a wee bit warm. This will be the last ever shrimp room video that you will ever see on this channel from this house, right? And I thought today, right, we'll do something a little bit different. There's going to be a lot of talking in this video, guys. So if talking and me rambling isn't your thing, maybe it might be better for you to switch off right now. But yeah, we're going to talk about my new shrimp room today because it is only a matter of just over a week until I get my keys to my new house, and then the new adventure begins where we live in a new property. Guys, I swear to God, I cannot wait to move. I'm so excited because the place is so nice, the area around it is so nice, and yeah, we have not one room for a shrimp room, but two. I've already put it past my wife multiple times that I'm going to have two shrimp rooms because, guys, the reason I want two shrimp rooms is you have one room here and right next to it is another room, and the door to go from room to room is in between these rooms. There's no extra door from anywhere else, right? So it makes sense for me to use both for the one thing. And anyway, we're going to have tons of room, so it's going to be fantastic. So today I thought I'd go over what we're going to do in the new house. I'm going to tell you some things about what we're doing in here right now because it is getting less and less stuff in here. I've been busy packing stuff when I can, and my back's not too bad. Today my neck is horrifically bad, which means, yeah, I probably should, I'm doing too much, guys, that's what it is. Yeah, I'm paying for it, and I don't know what it is. See, when I get a sore neck from doing too much stuff like this, I actually feel a little bit physically sick. It's something I've noticed through the years. Let me have a drink of coffee. Because, yeah, I have a bit of a sore throat and stuff today, so I don't know if it's like linked together. But anyway, Mark, stop going off on a ramble, my famous ramble. Let me get this off. Stop going off on a ramble. I have a list of stuff here that I'm going to try and read from, and we're just going to talk about how we're going to move and whatever else, and yeah, yada yada yada. Right. So let's start off by saying how far away is my new place. My new place is approximately 20 minutes drive away. It's not too far. I have a trailer. We're going to hire a vehicle as well to move all the bigger stuff, but then we're going to have a vehicle, just a car and a trailer. My daughter has her own car. Let me put these back on because I can't see the lens. My daughter has her own car, a little electric car, so she'll be able to take the odd thing now and again. Right, so I estimate that it will be 1 or 2 days of moving stuff, and then we should be good to go. Right, and I mean, when you move stuff, guys, it's better to have it all organised into boxes, right, and then you simply put it into your vehicle, take it out, and that's you finished moving. The rest of the stuff that you do after that, the unpacking, whatever, just take your time and do it properly, right? So that's what we've always done. If you guys don't know, that's what I used to do in Norway a long, long time ago when I first came here. My first job in Norway was a removals guy. And we were moving probably about 60 cubics of furniture every single day, including stuff like grand pianos and giant safes and stuff, things that you wouldn't believe are even possible to move. Yeah, we moved them. And yes, so I'm very used to moving stuff. My family all hate it because they think it's such a big chore. I'm like, it's just a matter of organising yourself a little bit, right? So that is how we're going to move this stuff, right? How are we physically going to move the tanks, right? The way I do it, guys, is I drain down the water as much as possible, and I keep the water. And I know it sounds absurd, Mark. I've got like 200 litres of water in this tank. Yeah, I'm going to keep all the water. I have tubs. I have lots and lots of totes, probably 25, 30 litres each. Just light enough that you can put one in each hand, go to the car or the trailer, put them on the back, drive to your new destination. Right, and then when you get there, all you have to do is fill them back up and then drip acclimate the shrimp into the tank, right? So I keep all the water. These smaller tanks are, guys, they're really, really easy to do. All you basically do in a nutshell is you drain the water down to about 1 or 2 centimetres above the substrate. That's how much water you leave in the tank, right? You take out anything that is big that could break the glass, right? So in this tank, for example, there's nothing really big in here that can break the glass apart from one piece of coral. Any stone that is in the tank, you want to remove the stone, right? Because if it shifts while you're driving, or if just say you lift it and it actually moves over and knocks the glass, you could absolutely break the glass, and I'd imagine it'd be quite a nightmare. Touched wood so far, touch wood, I've never actually broken a tank while moving it, and I've moved a lot of tanks. So the small ones are mega easy to move. They're probably, I would say, maybe about 5 kilos at the most once you get all this stuff out. So as I was saying, right, you get all this stuff out, all the heavy stuff, and then the plants, you just make sure everything's lying kind of even. You have a little bit of water and your shrimp will be fine. Guys, you have to remember, right, that when you ship shrimp to other places, or if you're buying shrimp, right, when they come to you or they go away from you, they could be in transit for a week at a time. 2 weeks I've had shrimp in post before, and they've been fine, right? And they're in tiny little breather bags like this. So you putting them in a tank like this, with this much water for, I don't know, 20 minutes drive is absolutely nothing. So that is how I'm going to move the tanks, right? And I think I'm going to break it up into probably 3 days. These tanks won't be going in the bigger vehicle with all the rest of our stuff. I'll do this separately once we've moved all the furniture. I'll get help with the tanks. I've got 2 sons. I've got my friend as well. He would probably help me. A daughter and a wife. Everyone can carry a little bit. It makes it so much easier. The bigger tanks, as I said, I'll do the same with them. The only thing, guys, I would recommend you do is when you empty the water out of the tanks, keep the water, cover them. I used to use black bags just over the top once, taped all the way around, and it just stops the splashing, right? It's worth its weight in gold if your vehicle or your trailer's kind of dry, right? If you're going to use a trailer as an example, please remember to use towels and moving blankets and all that stuff around your shrimp tanks and whatever else, because it doesn't take a lot for them to break. They're very easy to break if you don't secure them properly, and the best way to secure them properly is to give them lots and lots of padding. Right, so I probably won't put like these, for example, in a trailer, because you know what it's like if you go over a speed bump with a trailer. You can see it jumps up a little bit. I think that would be quite a bad idea for shrimp tanks. So I'm going to put them in the car. As I said, I will probably do 1 rack at a time. 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 racks. And some of these tanks won't be getting used again for the purpose that we do in here as well. So some of the bigger ones, like this one's probably staying. The one below is probably staying. I'm going to get rid of one of these ones here. I'm going to donate one of them there to my daughter, probably the middle one, because she has a goldfish and another fish in this little tub that she's had for years. And the tub is basically this big, and I thought, yeah, well, we're moving. I don't necessarily need all big aquariums anymore, because I want to go, guys, to this size, because it's just easier for me to handle. Bad back, you want smaller things to move, and it's just easier. You can do like, if I want to do more Caridina type tanks, soft water bee shrimp tanks all the time, it's just easier to have a smaller tank because you're not using so much substrate and whatever else. And you get the gist. Right, so that's what I'm going to do. The goldfish will get this tank here. This top tank here is coming with us, but I'm going to completely empty it because this one is a little bit heavy. Most of these tanks, including the big one, guys, as long as you're careful, right, you can carry these on your own as long as they're empty. But when they're full, when this one's full and it's got about this much water in it, it'll probably weigh 10 kilos, right, which is too much for one person to carry. You'd have to be quite nuts to try and carry. It's not the weight in it anyway, it's just the what would you call it, the oddity, you get what I mean, just the awkwardness of carrying something this shape with water in it, right? And you're better with 2 people because you don't want it slopping. You don't want it slopping all over the place when you're carrying it. So you want minimal water, just enough to cover the shrimp and the plants and stuff. And I would imagine when this one's empty here, it's going to come down right down to about here. There'll be a little bit of water in here and it'll be covered with plastic on the top and taped. And that'll be good to go. And then when it's in the vehicle, it's going to have a blanket wrapped around it. The only difficult thing, guys, that might be an issue is I don't want to drain this tank completely. When you move tanks, by far the easiest way to do it is remove everything completely, put stuff in buckets and whatever. It's just easy to move the tank. Well, in tanks like this where you have a gazillion shrimp babies and all these little ceramic rings and little bits of stone and whatever else in here, it's near impossible to move a tank. It's near impossible to move a tank and get all the baby shrimp out of the tank, right? So this is why you basically just have to do your best, get it as low as possible and then move it. Right, so I've actually written a list here of stuff I have to get through. It's been 10 minutes and we're still on the first thing. How am I going to move? Right, so we could tick that off. How am I going to move? Yeah, as I said, we're going to use that top one there. I want to make this one special. Guys, I love Opae Ula shrimp. So I thought, yeah, let's give them a big special. It's going to be a centerpiece type tank, this. I'm going to build a rack for it. We'll get to that in a second, how I'm going to do all this. I'm going to build a rack for it. Building the racks is simple as well. And then we're going to give this a stand for itself. And I'm not 100% sure yet if I'm going to have smaller tanks underneath or not. Like if that tank that the Opae Ula are in right now, if that one will stay. I think it might, because there's a lot of tiny little babies in there, guys. It is for someone that is so hard of seeing and hearing, apparently I'm getting told nowadays, it's always easier to transfer tanks with a tiny little bit of water in it and then fill them up later. Now the only issue I might have here is with that big tank, I haven't worked it out properly, but that big tank, I think I need quite a lot of salt. I think I have maybe about 4 kilos of salt. I'm not 100% sure if it is enough for a big giant tank like this. But this is the kind of tank that will be, when I move, it will be set up, and then I'll put the RO water straight in. I'll actually run it so my RO system runs the water straight into the tank, and then I'll be adding the dose via calculators and all this of salt back into there until we get it right and you have all the rocks and stuff in. Yeah, and it'll be awesome. I'm not 100% sure if I'll have to cycle the tank or not, because we're going to use all cycled media. We're going to use the same sponge filter. You never know. I mean, all the stuff is going to be the same. The only thing we're changing is the container, but we'll see. Well, I'll look into this and you'll find it eventually near the end. Anywho, right, before we get onto the building stage, so let me have another drink of coffee here, guys. Americano Nescafe. Oh, it's delicious. Before we get on to talking about the building stuff, I have to talk about something else. And this was a recommendation I got from a friend that has the shrimp room in a basement in Norway, and that is you're better with a white paint on the wall, which I was going to do anyway. I did think about for YouTube having black walls so that the tank stood out and there was no glare for anything else. But guys, I like plants in my room. See all the plants and stuff I have? Black just sucks the light right out of the room, and it is harder to light. It's visibly duller. So I'm deciding to go with a pure white wall. The good thing, guys, as well, as I haven't mentioned either, is this room has 2 windows quite high up, but they're decently big. They're not full windows like you'd have in a bedroom. They're like half window size bedrooms, if that makes sense. 2 of them, like up on the wall next to each other. Which will be awesome, because when I was in there, when we went to view the house, I noticed and I said to my friend, wow, this room is really bright, this is going to be awesome. And the reason I'm making a deal out of it, guys, because eventually when I'm doing more of this kind of stuff, the goal is to try and be as energy as efficient as possible, right? So I no longer will have any more Pat Minis and stuff in here. The only thing I want to be running on power is my air system, which is up there, and the lights, right? So the less that I can have my lights on and still maintain good biofilm growth and plant growth, the better. And with having those 2 big windows on the side, I think that'll help a lot. By the way, I don't want to go off on tangents all the time, but what I'm saying here, guys, is for the room itself, I want the walls to be white, because it's when I bought the house, I checked all the inside and for mold and read all the reports and whatever else. So our house is solid. It's only 30 years old, and it has all the proper protection and stuff and whatever on the outside. I was made aware that if we have a shrimp room in a basement in Norway, what can happen is the walls can get quite cold, right? And obviously the tanks will be warm. I'm going to have to heat the room as well. But wherever you have that combination of coldness against a concrete type surface, you're going to get moisture going towards that surface, right? So in the beginning I was of the opinion that you didn't, I was in the opinion that you really wouldn't want to have a waterproof paint on top of a cellar basement wall, because I was always under the impression that you want cellar walls to breathe, right? That's how it works, how it keeps them dry. With the moisture building up and all this stuff, you want them to be able to breathe. But it's different if you have a shrimp room or a fish room or whatever else. Guys, let me know in the comments section your opinions about that, right? So I'm basically going to get bathroom paint or kids' bedroom paint, which is basically paint where kids can write on it, write on the wall and stuff, and you just go in there with a cloth and it just wipes off. I was thinking about doing that because yeah, the last thing I want is like loads of mold build up and whatever else. And the other good thing as well is the room is well ventilated. There's vents and stuff in the wall. And yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll get on to the next part, which is here, right? So I'm just going to quickly score this off. Thank you for bearing with me if you're still here. We're talking about the shrimp room. Guys, did I mention the size of the shrimp room? The new shrimp room is 4 meters by 4 meters. So that's 4 meters across, 4 meters down. So it's basically a square, right? And halfway up one of the walls on one side, in the middle kind of actually, there is a doorway, and it goes on to another room that is exactly the same size that I'm also going to use in the future for another shrimp room. Right, and what's really good about it, guys, is the shrimp room initially, the first one, is not going to be a masterpiece finished. It's going to be the type of room that is just done enough for me to get my shrimp to the place. Right, and that will be the same with the lighting and everything else. It's going to be really just rubbish looking in the beginning. I have money to fix it, don't worry about that. I've been saving up for years for this build, for doing this kind of stuff, but I don't want to just rush into it and build stuff wrong and then get the wrong opinions about stuff. I want my room, guys, I want my shrimp room to be perfect. So again as well, this is something else I want to touch on, is we're going to go with wood shelving, right? Because I can build them myself, I can build them at my own pace, and it's not that it's cheaper or more expensive than the metal rocks. I don't know what it is with metal rocks, I don't like them. I don't know what it is. They're cold. They rust. I have quite a bit of rust on that little rock up there, and that's just from the saltwater tank being next to it. But yeah, I really want a shrimp room to feel like a room where you want to go in, sit down, relax, and really enjoy looking at the shrimp. And for me to do that, I think I need to go with wood. So we're going to go with 2x4s. We're going to go with 1/2-inch ply over the shelf, right? But I'm telling you what the wood is before I've even told you the construction, right? We're going to go with 2x4s. I've not decided yet if I'm going to go 4 meters by 4 meters with 2x4s. I think what I'm going to do is, I said in previous video, is we'll go with something this high and a shelf underneath. And all I need is enough room here to get my hands in and whatever else. And underneath is going to be spare space, because one of the things I hate about this shrimp room is the tanks that are lowered down. Guys, I know you probably are sick and tired of me talking about this. My back is horrific at times, right? And see, trying to do stuff on the floor. Yes, what you don't know. What you don't know. So the stuff on the bottom of the floors is going to be done away with. That metal rock there is probably going to be kept because it is tall. I'm going to keep that for my water supply. I'm going to keep my water supply quite basic in the beginning because I really don't use so much water. And then yeah, I'm going to treat the wood. I think I'm going to stain all the wood like a light brownish colour, like a stain the wood stain. I think I've seen quite a lot of people do this. Guys, if you look at, who's it, Serpa Designs on YouTube, he has that kind of way of doing it where he has wood finished and it's all nicely stained and he has tons of plants. That's what I want my stuff to be like. I don't want just the black racks and the black walls, and I want it to be comfortable and nice. So there's going to be a lot of considerations. Let me again know your thoughts on this. We're going to go with the standard 2x4 construction methods, where we're going to go with wood back and front, wood on the sides as well, and then we're going to build the legs up again, and then basically you're building 2 platforms, and then you're adding legs to it and you're reinforcing it and stuff, and then you're going to paint it and put your ply on, paint it, and then that is it. Let me just scrub that off here. Guys, I'm trying to cover as much as I can while I remember. So we've talked about the bathroom paint, wood shelving. The other thing I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to make another custom built airline circuit for my new room, because this one is just a little bit too small. This one is not even 2 meters this way, so it would be too small for a full room. I want to do the full room. I don't plan to actually, if you guys can see this, I don't plan to have shrimp tanks all the way around. I want shrimp tanks just on one half, on like the back wall and one side wall, and I want the other ones to be open. You probably see why when I get all this done, right? I just don't want all the stuff. I don't want it where it's just like a mess with tons of tanks, and I want it to be nice, guys. I want it to be a nice, relaxing place where I go in, have a cup of coffee, look at my shrimp tanks. We probably will, guys. One thing I've wanted to go back to doing is getting some birds as well, some parakeets, maybe budgies or something, get them in the shrimp room as well, as long as they are not chewing cables and whatever, because I love little birds and I've had them a lot over my life. Okay, so we're talking about the PVC conduit pipe. That's what I'm going to use. This was water pipe, this one we used here, but in Norway I can get PVC conduit pipe. I already have all the fittings, so I've just to buy the material. For 2 meter length, guys, of PVC conduit piping in Norway, it's like, I think it's either 10 kroners or 20 kroners, which is like $1 or $2. So it's something I may as well do and yeah, get it fitted properly. I'm going to buy the taper bit for the when you drill the holes as well, because previously all I've done is drill the hole, shove the little stainless steel valve in as hard as I can, and it just force it to fit. And it's not the best way to do it. You're best drilling the hole, getting a taper with a little taper bit, and then putting the thing in, maybe a little bit plumber's tape around it just to stop any air leaking it. So that is what we're going to do with our PVC air system, our PVC loop. We've talked about the big tank going to my daughter. I don't think I'll keep that in the room though, because I want it still to remain marked shrimp tanks. Big goldfish in a shrimp room. People will get the wrong idea. They'll be like, are you feeding that goldfish some shrimp? I'm like, no. No. We talked about the Opae Ula already. Let's scrub that off. Well, the other good thing, guys, is I didn't mention is my wife's already bought a new kitchen. You know what it's like. You move house, wife's already bought a kitchen. My wife is a professional chef, in case you didn't know. She's worked in hotels and restaurants and all that kind of stuff. And she's had in her head the ideas of her dream kitchen for a long time, like floating island tables, and you can imagine. Well, anyway, she's went away and she's ordered herself a new kitchen online. And when we get the keys and stuff, it's going to come, and we've got someone coming to help us fit all the stuff and whatever else. We're going to have some spare stuff from the kitchen, so I'm going to take from the old house, I'm going to take its old kitchen, the sink and the bunker and stuff, and I'm going to put that into the basement. So it will give us a good place for doing our little water tests and filling up stuff and whatever else. My RO unit system here that I have, I'm going to keep it as well. It's always worked for me, guys. All I do is I swap out the active carbon filter on it every 3 to 6 months, something like that. I swap out the DI resin. Looking at it there, I put this in here in a double DI resin configuration, and the top one still hasn't changed colour. So it goes to show that when you have stuff set up right, it actually works. So yeah, our new basement also has a drain in the centre of the floor, which is a must for any shrimp room. Because you guys, no matter how hard you try, you're always going to have spills. You're always going to have the odd tank leak. In here, I think I've had maybe 2 tanks break. And I'm talking about tanks where you just see a drip. You think, oh, maybe it's a little bit of condensation. You come in the next day and there's even a bigger drip. And then the next day there's a little flow of water going down on the rack to the floor drain. You're like, yeah, that tank is leaking, right? So it's always better to have a floor drain if you can. Get a floor drain. As I said, the basement is in the ground as well, so these are things that I have to consider when you move to a new place. Is one of the first jobs, it should have been one of the ones first on the list, is I'm going to check all the plumbing in the house before we go in all gung-ho and just have it all set up and get water running for reverse osmosis systems and stuff. Guys, I don't know how long or if they had a lot of running water in the basement at all. There's a drain there. There's a pipe there for, what do you call it? Washing machine. You know, in the back how you have the little loop like this and it goes into a pipe into the drain. Well, there is a pipe there for a washing machine, so it means that I think the soak away for the grey water is away into the ground, into the field. I've talked to the neighbour already, you see. Mr. Olaf. I've talked to him already. I've actually discussed with him what we pay for water a year, which is not too bad. It's private water. It's 1,500 kroners a year, which is £150 or $150 US for water for a year is incredibly good value. The sewage system that all this stuff connects to is on the commune, so I don't know, well, I can't remember, guys. I can't remember the toll, what it is, the communal toll, like your council tax every year in the UK. I don't know what that is in America. How much that is, but the septic tank is part of it. I think once a year the commune come and they empty the septic tank, and it has a runoff from the septic tank that is grey water again, or sewage water that goes into the ground somewhere. It's a similar system that works here, but the one that we have here is, it goes to a big pit with trees and stuff in it. The new house, it has like a dedicated runoff. The reason this one is like this here, guys, is because we live next to a river. You can't have runoff from a septic tank in a house next to a river, so we have to have a pit where the water goes to first and then the trees suck it up. See, let's mark that off. So I think we've covered nearly everything. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Are you excited for me? Because I'm really excited, actually. It's like that feeling you got when you were a kid for Christmas. That's what it's like, but for an adult. I think my wife feels the same about it. So yeah, I'm really, really excited for what's to come in the future. I've still not decided if streams and stuff will come back. And guys, a lot of that stuff to do with streams is to do with, how can I put this? I talked about it a little bit the other day, which was not a mental block. It's like a mental restriction on what you're physically able to do in the same space for, what, 7 years? How long have I lived here? And we've made hundreds and hundreds of videos all in this same little room here. There's only so much you can do in a room this size. And yeah, it was one of the things that bothered me a lot near the end when I was doing the streaming was, you know, we're doing streams, and guys, I know you want to see new things all the time, and just showing you the same stuff over and over and over and over and over again. It was getting monotonous, and I could see it in the numbers as well on my views for certain videos and stuff. They're just going, everything just starting to tank. So we have a new shrimp room, new hope. Guys, let me know what you think about all this in the comments section below, and guys, have an awesome day, because the next time you will see me, we will be in a new place. Happy shrimp keeping.